Cheryl Dukes. This is my light that I shine because I'm a little light shining wherever I go. And if you don't believe me, just ask me. This is my frame in which I look at the world. It's very important for us to consider who's in the picture and who is not. In terms of getting ready for this presentation, I had a lot of help. I need a lot of help. As the chairman of the board of selectmen in the town of Buckland, I need a lot of help. And the first part of help is for us to all understand that Shelburne Falls is not a town. And I will explain what that means, since Daniel didn't want to take all the time to do that. Shelburne Falls is the business district of the towns of Shelburne, which we are sitting in right now, and the town of Buckland, which is over the river. Buckland is the falls side of Shelburne Falls. Shelburne is the Shelburne side. I am here today to share with you some of my insights and experiences of something that is invisible. And when it's missing or when it's bad, that's when we notice it. And what I am talking about is government. Ooh, government. We hate it, right? So, in order for this presentation, because it is not my presentation, it is our presentation, all of us together. And I can show you that better than I can tell you, because there are folks in this room and in Mokamaias and in the Shelburne Senior Center who are watching this through the simulcast, who have participated in town government. So, in order to make this work, for those of us who have participated in a board, a committee, or a council, please stand up. Thank you. Please remain standing. No, don't sit down. If I can be up here, you can stand out there in the dark where nobody can see you. I can't even see you. For those of us who have attended annual town meeting or special town meeting, please stand up. For those of us who have ever served in the military as part of a fire service, in state, local, or federal agency or institution, please stand up. Now, please, let us all look around to see who we are. Thank you. Please sit down. I want to thank all of us for our service, because that is community service. And we never think about community service as being public service, do we? I have a problem with that. And that is why I am standing here today, because whenever I go out and introduce myself as the chairman of the board of the selectmen for the town of Buckland, that is intentional. And it is intentional because we all seem to have a hard time standing up and saying that we participate in our government. We, the people, are the government. And yet, we are in the 12th day of the government being shut down. How is that possible? If we, the people, are the government, how can the government be shut down? I would say, perhaps, the government is locked down, right? Because if we, the people, are the government really can't be shut down. The only way the government can be shut down is if we don't show up to do the work. And as the chairman of the board of a small town local government who doesn't get paid to do the work, I still show up to do the work. And those of us who were just standing, we show up, we do the work. We don't get paid. So how is it that the government can be shut down and people aren't getting paid? Perhaps we, the people, should show up and do the work anyway. Because would it be a government shutdown if we showed up and did the work? As a matter of fact, it's not a government shutdown because we're still here doing the work. And where does the work really get done? In our communities. And why do crazy people like me continue to show up to do the work? Because people come up to me and they say, "Oh, Cheryl, you're a selectman. That's a thankless job. You're doing a really good job. Thank you for your service." I'm doing a thankless job, and yet I continue to be thanked. That's kind of odd. Right? And so people who serve on our boards and the committees in our towns show up and they do the work. How many of us get thanked when we do that sort of work? And why is that? Perhaps you don't get thanked as much as I get thanked because I'm up here, right? You can see me. Woohoo, see me. But we can't see you out there doing the work because you're invisible. I think maybe perhaps it's time for us to stand up, to show up, and to say, we're doing the work. It's very important work. And the reason why we do the work is because we care about the people in our communities. We care about ourselves. We care about the relationships that we have with one another. Our relationships matter. Our communities matter. We matter. If the people in Washington, D.C. wanted a lesson on good government, they should come here to Buckland and to Shelburne to see how we show up to do the work, not just in the times of disaster, but every single day when it really matters. Because if we don't show up to do the work doesn't get done. And what happens when the work doesn't get done? Our communities fall apart. And that's not just a hypothetical, theoretical. That's happening. Because people aren't showing up to do the work. Because our boomers are retiring, and yes, they are dying. And our younger generation, there's no value that's placed on public service the way that it used to be. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. When was the last time we heard that and that actually meant something to all of us? Sienna was just talking about community service and what a big difference it makes to our children. And perhaps when we work together with our children, they'll grow up and maybe they'll grow up to be a selectman. Thanks for that. You know how it happens that you become a selectman or somebody on a board or a committee? Somebody asks you, How often does it occur to us to actually step forward and to do that job? Because we're too busy, or it's too hard, or I don't know how to do it. Let me just tell you, being a selectman, no clue. Clueless. Clueless. You know how you learn how to govern? You get in and you do it. Because you don't do it alone. We're very fortunate in Buckland because we have lots of people in town hall who are very good at doing their jobs. We also have people on the select board, my two colleagues, Bob Dean and Kevin Fox. They're very good at doing their jobs, have been doing it way longer than me. It's very thrilling to be on the select board because I get to not know anything and ask lots of questions like, what if they gave a government shutdown and everybody showed up to do the work anyway? Because it reframes the question and we have a different way of looking at things. So what if, instead of all of us thinking that the person on the stage who has the title behind their name is the one who's responsible for doing the work, what if we all decided to shine our lights, gleam it around, and show our shine? Not for ourselves, but for all of us together. Thank you.